In Star Wars, the Sith have always been shown to be very powerful and foreboding characters. In both Legends and canon, they have been shown to be able to face and scale any Jedi they come across. With this, even Sith apprentices have been shown on multiple occasions going toe to toe with not only Jedi Knights, but Masters and members of the Council as well. In order to understand why the Sith are so powerful and how they're able to scale with the Jedi, we must first ask ourselves, what makes them so different? One thing that the Sith have over the Jedi is the fact that the dark side of the Force helps bring quick strength in combat. For Jedi, it takes many years for them to enhance their abilities, tune in with the Force, and really become powerful by being one and in sync with the Force. See, the Sith, they themselves draw power from their emotion, whether that's good or bad. Oftentimes, we see that emotion displayed as anger or hate or fear, but it's more than that. They also gain emotion and power from love, from desire, from resentment. These things are powerful within themselves, but when driven by the dark side of the Force, makes those users much more powerful quicker. But that power does come at a cost. Oftentimes we see it as carelessness or recklessness, but it's not only emotion to help the Sith overpower many of the Jedi that they face. Another thing that they do is also, of course, play and fight dirty. See, with the Jedi, there are a lot more restrictions when it comes to combat. For them, they are reactive, they are responsive. They don't attack first. They always attack on the defensive initially before going in for striking critical blows. Whereas the Sith, they might stab you in the back. I mean, they do it to themselves all the time. So who's to say that they can't do it to some Jedi before the fight even starts to take them out? They also use fear tactics as well. You often see Sith throughout canon and also in Legends a lot as well, who will use toxins or gases to invoke fear. Many of them wear masks or also might have enhancements or cybernetics to invoke fear in their enemy. This isn't, one, aesthetically cool. I'm sure they get some type of enjoyment out of it, but also two, it's to strike fear in the hearts of the enemies before the combat even begins, already giving them the upper hand. But when fighting dirty as well, we'll see them use tactics or gear or abilities that is overall pretty unfair. We're talking about the type of people that will literally throw sand in your eye to get the upper hand. They don't care. They're going to do what it takes to win the fight. Not only that, you also see that the Sith themselves practice the art of combat a lot differently than the Jedi. The Sith themselves practice to fight against Jedi, so because of that, they train against the Jedi arts. Whereas the Jedi, sometimes they do practice against lightsaber combat. However, for the Jedi, they primarily focus on trying to disarm their enemy and also going up against blaster combat, especially in the later years, like the High Republic and of course the prequel era. The Jedi themselves, pretty much with their arrogance, didn't expect for any Sith to rise up against them. Every once in a while, you have a fallen Jedi here or there, but those fallen Jedi are going to be using the techniques and the practices that the Jedi have taught them. But the Sith, their combat, their recklessness, and their ideology is a lot different than the Jedi. And with that brings me to the biggest reason why the Sith themselves are typically more powerful than Jedi, and that is because of the rule of two. See, for those who know, there was a Dark Lord named Bane, and well, he's responsible for the Sith going into hiding, and this is a good and bad thing. Of course, it limited the Sith in the amount of outreach and productivity that they have, but it also gave them the advantage of hiding in plain sight. In a large galaxy full of billions of creatures, Bane came up with the idea of, you know what, we're our own worst enemy. Not only do we worry about the Jedi, we have to worry about stabbing each other back all the time. Like I said, they fight dirty. So, Bane came up with the idea, always two there are. No more, no less. Now that gets a little bit muddy because as we've seen even in the Clone Wars, there's sometimes more than two Sith at a time, but it's never intentional. And with the intentions, there's always a master and apprentice, one with all the power and the other seeking to obtain it. With this, Bane knew that the apprentice will eventually overcome his master. That was part of the plan. It was part of a larger plan to defeat the Jedi in a game of chess longevity. If you have a master who can teach his apprentice everything, and that master gets overcome by his apprentice, that master did his job because now his apprentice is more powerful than him. That new master will find an apprentice himself. teach them everything. That apprentice will now overcome their master until the cycle continues for hundreds of years until you reach the prequel timeline. We have Darth Sidious himself and his many apprentices, but ultimately being Vader, who overcome the galaxy and take it for theirs, leaving the Jedi decimated, proving Bane to be right in his ideology of the rule of two. This allows the Sith to harbor all of their resentment and hatred for the Jedi for over 1,000 years. Of course, like I've been saying, the Sith are sneaky. What better way to take out your enemy than for them to not even know that you're there? Well, by the time the Jedi realize that the Sith are back, it's already too late. The plans have already been in motion. Palpatine is at the head of everything, quietly, slowly, and easily pulling the strings. But who knows? The great thing about Star Wars is that it's an ever expanding universe. The universe just doesn't stop after episode 9. We're going to continue with growing. Who knows? Maybe that might be the end of the Sith. Maybe not. Maybe something new will rise from the ashes. We'll see. Until then, I'm Keith, and thanks for watching.